Hey crafters, in this tutorial I'll be showing you how to thicken fonts in Inkscape. I know there are loads of tutorials already showing you how to do this, but I'm sharing the proper way to do it. You don't need to be resizing your words, making them really massive in order to add the right amount of thickness to your word. That method may work, but it's not great if the text that you're adding thickness to is just one part of a larger project, and you want to be able to see what's happening against the rest of the design as you're making these changes. I definitely recommend this method for those of you who want to thicken fonts in Inkscape, and especially if you're going to do this more than once. It's going to be a real time saver for you. So let's get started. Let's say this is the project we're working on, and we plan to cut these words out of vinyl. Iron-on vinyl, adhesive vinyl, the problem will be the same. You can see here, particularly on this script front, it gets very thin in certain places. When we go to weed this and apply it onto our blank, we will probably encounter some trouble with the weeding or with the letters adhering to the surface. And the same goes for this sans serif font that we have down here. Oh, and guys, if serif and sans serif fonts, those terms don't make any sense to you, I have a video where I explain all about designing with text, and also there's a part 2 to that video where I talk about how you can design with text, specifically in Cricut Design Space, so I'll link them below for you. Okay, so before I start showing you what to do, I'm going to make a quick copy of this so we can compare before and after. So if I just select over everything and hit Command D, then I'll have a second copy that I can just drag out of the way. If I press 1 on my keyboard, I can zoom back into 100%. If you need a reminder of how to write in Inkscape, you just grab this icon here, click on your canvas, and then you can just start typing. And that gives you your text. And up here you can change the font. So before you make changes to text in Inkscape, you will always follow the same 3 steps. I've coined these the golden trio. So the first thing you do is you select your text, you click Path and Object to Path. Okay. Next, you go Object, Ungroup, then back to Path and Union. Now, if you're not entirely certain what I've just done, then I've explained exactly what's happening in my video where I talk about how you add shadow layers to text in Inkscape, so please check that out. Alright, I'm just going to repeat that process for this second text box. Now if I select this warning text box, we're going to use this function, Path and Outset, okay? The keyboard shortcut is Command and then the right bracket, so that's what I'll be using. But you can come into the menu and select. I just want to demonstrate what the Outset function does. So I'm going to draw a quick circle, and let me just duplicate it. And I'm going to turn this one into a path, and I'll move to the bottom. Let's change the color as well, actually. If I now do the command right bracket, can you see that that second circle is growing? What's happening is that Inkscape is enlarging your shape by equal amount along the entire circumference. So when we do the same thing here on the text, command right bracket, you can see it has grown the text all around the circumference, all around the outside edges by an equal amount. Let's remove this. Now you've noticed probably that the problem here is that it's been very heavy-handed. It's made it far thicker than we really want. It no longer looks refined and elegant because it's become quite chunky. Even the A has lost that hole in the middle. This G is almost disappearing. See the same thing here. The letters are kind of running into each other. So yes, we know how to do it, but at the moment, it's not quite giving us the end result that we want. So I'm going to undo this. I'm just hitting Command Z to do that. I'm going to show you how we can adjust the Outset function so that it does a much smaller adjustment each time. All you do is you come to Inkscape, come up to your menu and you select Inkscape and go into Preferences. Then you need to find this Behavior menu and then the sub-menu Steps. And remember, we use the Outset function. This here tells you that each time you do the function, by how much Inkscape will grow your shape. Now I find it easier to think in millimeters, you might prefer inches. So here you can see each time I grow my shape, it's gonna grow by about 0.5 millimeter. That's quite a lot. So all I'm gonna do is change this number. I've played around a bit and I find that 0.05 millimeters, and let me show you that in inches. So 0.002 inches is a decent number for getting a more controlled outcome. So you just come out of the menu, and now let's do that function again. Command right bracket. And this time I'm actually pressing it. I've done it maybe 5 times now. You can see it has thickened, but we're not losing that refinement, that elegance in this font. Let's do the same thing down here. That's 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 looks good. So if we zoom out a bit now, you can compare what we started with and where we finished. We've definitely thickened our font, but it still looks beautiful, still looks very elegant. We've still got fine lines where we want them, but now they're not quite so fine, so it will be much easier for us to read and apply this design than it would have been originally. So there you have it, guys. This is the proper way to be thickening fonts in Inkscape. I really hope you found this tutorial useful and you liked the technique that I have shared with you today. I certainly hope it will make life easier for you in the future when you are doing this on your projects. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. If you want to stay up to date, definitely subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you know when the next video is coming up. I'll be sharing lots more Inkscape tutorials, but also beginner projects on Cricut. And if you'd like to see some of the projects I've already done, check out my page on Instagram at LondonCraftGirl. Alright, till the next time, guys, happy crafting!